which is the thing I hate. Because I need to get to this page and pop that out. Hooray, hooray. Oh, the best. The very best. Okay. Hooray. There we go. And we'll tweet about it, because we are tweet. If we don't tweet about it, how will anyone know? There we go. We test that. We test that. I wish I made some coffee. That would have been smart. This goes here, and we go tweet, lead, dev, lead. Great. And there's the Caleb. Good morning, Caleb. Well, good afternoon, Caleb. And we turn the music back on for me, not for you guys, because I don't want to get... I like that these just go up, and I don't have to worry about them, so that button. Alright. Speaking of test, we're going to go write some tests. That's what we're going to do. I got to reorganize this windows, don't I? So you guys can actually see what the fuck I'm doing. Come on. There you go. And bring this up over here. And we need to find... That's not what I meant, but okay. Nope, not that one. Not that one. We're working on that one. And we're working on tests, because we are tryhards. No, come back. So we need that. Need that one in this one. And then we're going to have to start a... save that to... Adding dogs. Okay. Good morning, space friends. We get to do the incredibly riveting work of building up config file, doing the tests for the common stuff. Because then that means I have a strong foundation to work from, and these will always work for everything, is the thought. So I went ahead and last night wrote my new config parser. And now I need to make sure I have tests for it, and I need to make some test configs for it. So... key 1, key 2 equals 100. And this one's test config global CFG. Local. Oh, and then I should do fails. That, okay. I do still want a fails section, but I want it to have nothing in it. Actually, no. We're going to have it have two things. Shared key equals... I don't know. Who gives a shit? There we go. So let's add those into the project. Get add test. Oh, I'm not pinging the dev fleet Slack about this. Then I'm just going to get yelled at for not being peppy enough. Oh, nope. Adding test configs exercise and please go up to the internet. That would be great. Thank you. I did tweet it, yeah? I did tweet. I do remember to tweet. I forgot to retweet. That's what I forgot to do. All right, so the things we want to do is turn that down so I can talk to you. Is we have a couple of I have a whole new set of configs I want to go run with. The problem was, let's see if I can get the right column in here, because I got too many of them. Where'd it go? Should be Prosper config. Oh, all the way at the front of the thing. Jesus. This is one feature of Sublime I do not love. So there we go. So what I had before was that if you have a config file and the config files look like, let me see if I got one that's not local. I got to pull up one. Hold on. So when you're I guess that does do it. But so there are keys I want to use, like email passwords or database passwords or webhook URLs that you don't want committed into the thing. Because they're secret, right? Like, if you knew my webhooks, then you could just spam the chats where the webhook points to. If you had my database passwords, you could log in and destroy all my data, right? So here, let me see if I can. Let me pull up one to show what I mean. And so the behavior I used to have was that you'd have a config file that's tracked by get that you can go see in GitHub, and a local one that is not tracked, that's get ignored, so you can't even add it to the thing, which has all your secrets in it. So for instance, if we go look at this, we see that, okay, well, these values, that's fine. They can be defaults. Everybody can use the same defaults. That's great. But like the email criteria, well, if I publish those, you'll be able to log into the email that we do alerting on, because SMTP. Same for the Discord webhook, like I just said. And so I can keep these secret. I can make sure that, you know, everybody uses the same override. But then I run into a different problem, is that I have a priority order problem now. And so we just wrote this up in the new logging utility, where okay, so I have defaults, for instance, but I also may want to override them at runtime. Like, you may not want to use the config. You may want to use a different argument. You might be starting up a second logger, for instance, and you want to mess with the settings, or you might want it to be more or less forgiving. And like these log level and log formats, for instance, are a big part of that. But that means that now I have a priority chain of non-default arguments, local config, global config if you don't have anything in the local config. Like, you could be missing keys, and I still want you to be able to fall back to the global config, and then default given here. That means I got 4 things in a fucking priority order when it comes to globals. So that's what we fixed. I fixed this last night, where we wrote up a new config class that'll help you, you know, get options, and it does all the priority order crap. Oh, we gotta fix that too. For so that's the problem I want to solve. But now my wife's up, and I thought I was going to have another, like, 30 minutes before I got her up. So it might be breakfast time. So I might have to cut this one short and come back in an hour or so. A little more than an hour, probably. But the priority thing for today, when we come back, is to write tests about this so that we can make sure that the config options are working the way we want them to. We can assert that, you know, we're picking the right version out of the list. That's why we have 2 of these configs, and some of them have the same values. Oh, we should do something like, I don't know. That's a shitty one. 90. Make it inherently obvious, and make it so we can test the config, and we can have missing keys. I should have a tester already on here that, yeah, checks. Oh no, that's a test utility. That's what that is. Fuck. Okay, no, but I did write a thing so that you can make sure that the configs are complete, and we'll write assertions and all that shit, because it turns out writing tests is not inherently obvious, according to like, you go to the PyTest website and it just sort of assumes you know how to write Python tests, and you go anywhere else and they're like, okay, well, it's that underpants gnomes version of tutorials where step 1 is do something really fucking obvious. Step 2 is question mark, and step 3 is make sure you have complete test coverage. And I'm like, and I was sitting down with my boss on Friday, and we were rewriting some of the tests inside one of our projects. And he's ranting and raving that, like, oh my god, why are all the tests like this? There's all of these tries. Why do you don't have to try? You don't have to do try catches inside of tests. If it throws an exception, that's what your tests your test runner is for. Why are you doing all of these if tests to then throw an assert when you could just use the assert statement as your if statement? Why do you keep doing all of this extra fucking work when it's everything boils down to 1 or 2 lines out of, like, it goes from 5 to 10 to 1 to 2 instead, and it makes it a lot more sense when you're like you go and you request, and then you can assert the request object, and that will catch any HTTP error. That will catch any 404 or 500 error or whatever. And you didn't have to write like if 400 error, do this. If not, if request dot okay, if code not okay. Assert. You don't have to do any of that. You just assert on the request object, and you get all that coverage for free. You assert on the JSON parser to make sure that the stuff is JSON. You may have to pull the headers. We haven't gone into that yet, but and it's not inherently obvious when you go read documentation or tutorials about it, and it's actually kind of frustrating for me. But yeah, so we'll talk about that when we get back. I'm going to do breakfast, get some coffee, do something with his bedhead. We should be back in like 2 hours, probably. Maybe 1 hour. We'll see. I got to go talk with the wife. So we'll be back. We will code. You guys can zone out to my dulcet voice, though I won't have the morning crunchies anymore, so I won't be quite as smooth. So we'll be back. So keep tuned to the Twitter. We'll be back.